web application website. So you can, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you need a website, so you can create a server, and within that server you can install your web application, right? On the VM. That is called infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service means you build your infrastructure, you build your VM, you build your application, and then you can manage. You are the owner for your VM, you are the owner of your application, and both are managing by you. But what about if I want only a website? I don't want to maintain the VM. I don't want to manage the VM. In that case, you can go with the PaaS service, platform as a service. In PaaS, directly you can deploy your website without creating any VM. But there must be a VM, right? So what will be the VM that will manage by Microsoft? You will not manage. Even you will not able to access that VM. Even you are not able to see that VM. So that service is called platform as a service. Microsoft give you a platform, and over that you will deploy your website. So today we are going to see the PaaS service that is called web app, web application, web app as a PaaS, platform as a service. Is it clear? Jaswant, Akshay.
Yes, sir.
So how
Yes,
you
sir.
can
Yes, sir.
use that, how you can deploy that? Go to the Azure portal. And there go to the start and click on app service. This is your basically your web application service. So click on create web app. Here you can select your resource group name. Then your website URL name. So I'm giving the URL like Apo Wonder 01. That is my website URL. Apo Wonder 01 dot Azure website.net. This is a full URL. And I am going to publish this on a runtime .NET 6. So you can use anything like a .NET 6, .NET 7, ASP.NET, Java, Go, Node.js, PHP, Python. So as per your developer request, you can select the runtime stack. I am selecting .NET, and that will be deployed on a VM that have a Windows, but that VM will be managed by Microsoft because this is a PaaS service. Region I am going to create in East Asia, and this is your Windows plan name, and this is a pricing plan. So by default, it creating a standard S1, but you have multiple pricing plan like a free, shared, basic, standard S1, and have a different cost also. Free is 100% free, shared around 745 rupees cost, basic have around 4,000 cost. I'm going with the free plan as of now. Next deployment. You can leave it default. Your developer will connect GitHub with the website. Networking, go with the default. It will enable the public access. It means your website would have the public IP, then monitoring, and then review and create. Click on create. So it's created. Go to resource. You can see your website is ready and created. Now, this is your website URL. So if you copy that URL and give it in a browser, you can access your website. See, it is opening. Website is opening. This is a default page of your website. Now, if you want to deploy your code or your developer want to deploy the code, they can use the different method to deploy the code. Like they can use the deployment center. And they can use these method like a GitHub, Bitbucket, local Git, Azure repos to deploy the code. I am using a different method to deploy the code, and that is called advanced tool. So under the development tool, you have the advanced tool. I will use that. Click on that advanced tool.
Hello.
Hello, yes. Hello.
Sir,
Yes, Akshay. Yeah.
your voice not hearing, sir, properly, getting break.
You are not able to hear my voice. Hello.
Yes, sir. No, it's okay. No,
Okay.
no, I'm hearing, sir.
Okay. Fine. So here you have the advanced tool. So click on that. Go to the advanced tool. It will basically connect the server where your website is hosting. So this is your server that have the website hosting. Go to the debug console and open the PowerShell of your server. It is connecting. And it is connecting to D drive home. Within that you have the site folder. And within the site you have www root. So you know that all your web page should be stored here. All your web page should be stored here. I am creating one new web page here. New file a.html. And then I can modify the file here. This is my test website and save. So one web page I have created and I can open that web page. I can open that web page. So go to the URL again. This is the URL of website, copy and then paste here and open that. Website is opening. Now I want to open my page. .html and it is opening. It means the website is working fine and perfectly executed. So this is the way I can test the website, but my developer used the DevOps method to deploy the code, right? So that is something different. You don't need to know that. Your developer will use that. Now, right now, you can see the app service plan is free. F1 is free. So if you want to increase the pricing plan, if you want to increase the more CPU, more RAM, then how you can do that? Or if you want to use like a different service, like I want to use the deployment slot. So in a deployment slot, I can't use right now because I have the free plan. In a free plan, deployment slot is not supported. This feature is not available in free plan. So I have to upgrade the plan if I want that. So click here to upgrade. And you can see you have a different categories like dev and test, production and isolated. In a dev and test, you have the F1, D1, B1. In a B1, you have the manual scale, you have the custom domain, but you don't have the slotting. So go to the production. In a production, you have S1, P1, B2. S1 have a cost around 5,700. And under the S1, I have these features, custom domain, auto scaling up to 10 instances, staging slot up to 5 staging slot I can create, backup I can take daily 10 backups, and traffic manager also. It means that these features, so I am looking for the slotting and it is available here. So I can select this pricing plan S1 and then apply. So once it is done, then you can refresh that here and now you can see you can able to create the slot here. So right now I have only one slot. Why slotting is there? So basically your developer use the slotting. Your developer use the slotting. They use the multiple slots. One is a production slot. One is the dev slot. Another is a test slot. So all the test related tasks they perform here. All the development related tasks they can perform here. And production is basically it is actually connected to the internet and it is basically product under the production. So all your business user or customer, they access this website. That's why your developer not directly develop any task under the production slot. They do the development task here, and once they feel that the code should be go to the production, then they can merge it or they can swap it. All right. That's why they need a multiple slot. So if your developer asks to create a slot, you can come here and then click on add slot and give the slot name. I'm giving the slot name dev and then click add. Okay, now close it. So now you have a dev slot. So dev slot have a different URL, a separate URL, separate environment, separate development area. So all the development work will done by here by your developer. This is the way you can create a development slot. Now, one more important thing is the authentication. Right now, I am opening this website, but this website is not asking any username password. If I am opening in a different browser, it is opening, it is not asking any username password because right now it have the anonymous access, no authentication. So if I want to apply username and password, I want that system should ask username and password. In that case, you have to configure the authentication under the setting you have authentication. You need to set that. So you can add the identity provider that authenticate your service. Add identity provider, click on that, and then you have to select that. You have Microsoft authentication provider, Apple, Facebook, GitHub, Google, and Twitter. So because I'm using the Microsoft technology, Azure is a Microsoft. So that's why I'm using the Microsoft and authenticated by the Azure Active Directory. We'll select that. So this will basically register your website under the Azure Active Directory. Add it. So now authentication enable on your website. So if anyone try to access your website, now it will ask username password. So if I go here, incognito windows, it asks me username password. See, it's opening, taking time. Now it is asking me username password. It is not opening the website. So website is not opening, asking the username password, right? Got it, Akshay?
Yes, sir. You can access
This one,
our Microsoft ID also, right?
correct, right. So if you want to access your user account should be present under the Active Directory, Azure Active Directory. Then you can able to access. So let's suppose this is your company website. So your user account should be in company's Azure Active Directory here. So let's suppose your user account is Amit. I am taking just an example. Your user account is Amit. So Amit can able to access, copy this username and then give it here. Asking for the password. So let's suppose you are not remember the password. In that case, reset that, reset the password. This is the password, copy, give it here. At the first login, it asking to change the password. That's fine. And now he is able to access the website. See, so every time whenever any user try to access the website, they need to provide the username and password. Then only can able to access. So this is the way you can apply the authentication on your website. Is it clear? How to apply the authentication is it clear?
Yes, clear.
And later on, let's suppose you don't want authentication. In that case, you can delete that. So the authentication will be removed. And then after, if you access the website, it will not ask any username and password. See, now you one more important, that is your backup. So backup is automatically taken by Microsoft because it is a PaaS service. So in every 1 hour, Microsoft will take the backup. So you should not bother about the backup. Another is basically a scaling. What is the scaling? That is also important here. A scaling, a scale up and a scale out. So there are two types of scaling. One is called vertical scaling. And other is called horizontal scaling. So vertical scaling means, let's suppose you have you have a server and this server have 2 CPU and 2 GB of RAM. 2 CPU and 2 GB RAM memory. Now later on your server not able to handle the traffic. Your server is not giving the performance. Your server will be hang or overloaded. So what you will do? In that case, you have to increase the VM size, CPU and RAM. you can upgrade the size of the same VM in the terms of CPU and RAM. Now you have 8 CPU and 8 GB RAM. So this is called a vertical scaling. You have increased the size of same VM. That is called a vertical scaling. In other hand, for the horizontal scaling, for the horizontal scaling, let's suppose you have the VM and that VM have 2 CPU and 2 GB of RAM. So if the load will be increased, traffic will be increased, in that case, it will create another instances. It will not increase the size of same instance. It will create another instance. It will another VM. And if still load will be there, then it will create another instance. So parallelly, it will create multiple instances. That's why it is called a horizontal scaling. To adding the instance, if the instance is adding, that is called a scale out. To adding the instance is called a scale out. And when the traffic will remove or traffic will decrease, in that case, you will also remove the instances. So instances will be removed and that is called a scale in. So you have two types of scaling, vertical scaling, horizontal scaling. In a vertical scaling, the size of the same box will be increased. In a horizontal scaling, you will create multiple instances parallelly. To adding the instance is called scale out. To removing the instance is called scale in. And manually you can do the scaling or you can do the automatically. Or if you do automatically, that is called auto scaling. If you do manually, that is called manual scaling. Manual scaling and auto scaling. So how it is related to your website? Here I have the scale up. This scale up is your vertical scaling. So just now I have increased the size of the VM. Same size. So I have earlier it was the free, but now I have a standard S1. So I can increase the size, I can decrease the size, both I can do. I can go with the standard S1 to premium P1. In a premium P1, I have one CPU, 1.7 GB memory, right? I can go to the premium P3 that have the 4 CPU and 7 GB of memory. So I can increase the size, I can decrease the size. 1 second. Someone from at the door, 1 minute. Okay, so I am back. So this is the way you can increase the size or you can decrease the size. That is called your what horizontal, what vertical scaling. That is called your vertical scaling. What is that? Scaling, this one. That is called your vertical scaling. So this is vertical scaling. You can increase the size of same box and decrease the size of same box. Now you have a scale out. What is the scale out? Scale out, it is your horizontal scaling. So scale out is your horizontal scaling. Right now I have this memory and I have only one instance right now, only one instance. So if I want to go with the multiple instances, I can make it here. Let's suppose my company is an e-commerce company and I know that Saturday and Sunday traffic will be increased. So what I will do at Saturday morning, I will make the instances 5 or 4 or 3. You can increase the instances. So now I have the 5 instances and save it. So you have 5 instances.
Sir, what is the
Sorry,
instance means?
instance means
What is the
VM.
instance?
V means virtual machine. Instance
Okay.
is nothing but the virtual machine. So now you have
Okay.
5 virtual machine and all together they can able to handle your traffic, right? Now Monday morning again traffic will going to
Yes, sir.
decrease.
Yeah.
So if I have 5 instances, in that case I have to pay for 5 instances. I have to pay for 5 virtual machine, right? But my
Yes, sir.
traffic is low on Monday to Friday. So what I will do on Monday morning, again I will make it 1. So in this way, you can increase your virtual machine, that is called instances, and you can also decrease that to handle the traffic and also to control the cost. So you can do the manually or you can do the automatically. So this is a manual. You can use the automatically also, that is called rule base. So that is called automatically auto scaling. So manually you can do or you can do the auto scaling. In a auto scaling, in a automatically you have to create some rules on the basis of the matrix. So I am creating one rule by adding the rule here, add rule. And the metric I am using the CPU utilization. So if the CPU utilization is going above than 80%, if the CPU utilization going above than 80%, then one instance should be added, increase count by 1. So I have added one rule that is called a scale out rule. As per this rule, whenever CPU utilization more than 80%, then one instance will be added. But at the same time, I also want to decrease. If the traffic will be decreased, then I want to remove the instances. Otherwise, it will increase my cost. I have to pay for more instances. So I add another rule here. And this time the metric will be same CPU percentage, but I will operator will select less than or equal to 30%. So if the CPU utilization is less than or 30%, then the count will decrease count by 1. So one instance will be deleted. That is called a scaling. So maximum I need 5. So instances will be added till 5. And then you can save it. So this is your scale out and scaling feature, a role. And that is called a scaling. It is very, very important to understand. In an interview, they must ask what is the scaling, how many types of scaling, what is manual scaling, what is auto scaling. All right. Now, another important is the basically app service plan. So right now, what plan I have? My plan, app service plan. The plan name is ASP ACL Digital RG. And as per this plan, the pricing plan is H1. Instance count I have 1. And slot I have 1. Slot means 1 I have production slot and 1 I have development slot. Right? So these are the slots I have. And this app service plan is attached with the application. And this is my application name FO Wonder 01. This is my production slot and this is my development slot. You can use the scale up here, scale out here. This is related to your app service plan. And this is your website. So if you want to use the website domain, so right now the website domain is FO Wonder01 Azure website.net. This is your website URL. And if you don't want to use this one, I want to use like this one. .com. I want to use this. So this is called your custom domain. This is called your custom domain. And you have to purchase this domain from registered like godaddy.com or from many other companies. If you want to use a different name or custom domain name, then you have to commit here and click on custom domain. Right. And this is IP address of your website. And here you can add the custom domain. And you can give the domain name. .com. I want this one .com. So first I have to purchase this domain and then I have to create this record under the DNS server of the godaddy.com. So I assume I have purchased the domain from godaddy.com. So in that case, I create this record under the DNS server of godaddy.com and then click on validate. Once the validation done, then your new domain will be added here. After the validation, it will be added here, apowonder01.com. And after then anyone can access .com website URL and it will open your website. That is called a custom domain. A custom domain is a duplicate name, another name, right? So this is all about your website. Now you have some other like web jobs, posts. So these are basically pure related to your developer and development tasks. So we will not discuss those things. That is out of scope. Your work is to create the website, to enable the authentication, to create the auto scaling or to create the custom domain like that. That's it. Any question do you have, Akshay and Yashwant?
No, sir. Need to work on it actually.
Yeah, you have to work on that, right? You have to work on that. And then
Sir, a document can I get?
I will provide you document on that website document you need, right?
Sorry. Today's session
While
topic.
sharing the document here. So I think this one. This is your document. You can do the practice and then we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. Sir.
If you want, you can do the right now also. Depend on you. You want to practice later on, do that. If you want to practice right now, you can do that also.
Hello.
Yes, Akshay. Yeah.
Sir, in previous class, while doing load balancer and application gateway,
Mm-hmm.
so we have created two web servers, right? Web 1 and Web 2.
Mm-hmm.
So in that, again, we have created two HTML files like a.html and a.html.
Correct. Correct.
So when we are trying to access that website in Google Chrome or Internet Explorer,
Mm-hmm.
along with IP address, after that we are giving /a.html, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it
Correct.
is redirecting to Web 1 and Web 2.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
So in both the web, we given same name like a.html, a.html. So it's
E-
taking the Web 1 or Web 2. What if we give another different names in that?
See, it is not a matter of name, right? You can give any name. Doesn't matter. You can give any name, right? So traffic is automatically going. First time it go to the web 1, second time it will go to the web 2. So let's suppose I access the traffic will go to the web 1. If you will access, the traffic will go to web 2.
No, for
Someone
example,
access, so it is
okay.
round robin.
So for example, in web 1 I have given a.html. In web 2 I have given a b.html.
Yeah.
So
But
while
if
access,
problem is
so
that if your traffic is going to web 1
hmm,
and on web 1 you have created a.html. So the if you give the web 1 public IP and then a.html, then it will be access, right?
hmm, okay.
If you type b.html, it will not access because b file you have created in some other server.
Okay.
How you know the traffic is going to web 1 or web 2? You don't know.
Hmm. So while
So
accessing with the DNS name,
DNS name is not, I am not discussing the DNS name. You can create the DNS name. That will work, right? But what is the concept of the load balancer? You don't know the traffic is going to which server. And that's why we have created the a.html file. A.html file is not have any, take any part in the traffic distribution. This is your two web servers, web 1 and web 2. And this is your load balancer, LB. Load balancer connected to both the servers. And load balancer also connected to internet. So you are here with your laptop and desktop. You access this one, public IP address of load balancer. You access the public IP address of load balancer, this one. After then load balancer automatically forward the traffic to web 1 and web 2. So let's suppose traffic is forward to web 1 and from web 1 the website is opening on your system. But you don't know traffic is going to web 1. Here you have created a file, let's suppose a.html, and here you have created b.html. So traffic is going to this server and IP address is, let's suppose 10.10.10.10, the IP address of this load balancer. If I type here 10.10.10.10, my website is opening. That's fine. I want to know traffic is going to web 1 and web 2. That's why I am giving the a.html here. And in this a.html file, I have mentioned the web server name web 1. So that I can understand, oh, the traffic is going to web 1. If the website is, if it is opening web 2, then I understand, oh, traffic is going to web 2. That's why on a both system we have created the same file name. Under that we have changed the content here web 2, here web 1. You don't know traffic is how you identify that traffic is going to web 1 or web 2. You don't know. That's why
yes
we
sir. Now,
create this file,
yes sir. Now I understood.
right? Okay.
Yes.
Any other question?
No sir. While creating load balancer,
Mhm.
can I share my screen?
Yeah, please share this.
Is it visible, sir?
Yes, it is visible.
So while creating this one, it's saying that more than three
Ah,
public IP can't they create in same region, right?
correct. So
So
if you are use the free trial, you maximum use the 3 public IP in a region. So if you have two, you need to create two server and 1 load balancer. If you have more than that, you should delete. How many
yeah,
server you
for
have?
load balancer front end also we will create one public IP
Yeah,
also.
1 public IP for front end, 1 public IP for your VM. So remove the public IP with the VM. Don't use that. No need to use.
This one, sir.
Yeah, go to the VM, open the virtual machine. This is your network. Go to the VM. And this is your VM. So already you have configured the a.html and b.html and website.
Yes, sir.
Everything done. Then click on public IP. click on public IP 202.247, click on that and go to the overview and remove deassociate. Once it is deassociated, then you can delete.
Okay, sir.
Click on deassociate.
Already clicked, sir. It is working on.
Okay, it is working on. If but no notification is going on, I think it's not working. Click on once more. Yeah, click OK. Okay. Once it is deassociated, then you can delete the public IP, right?
Okay, sir.
Then after you can able to create a load balancer with public IP. You can't use more than 3 public
Okay,
IP,
okay, understood.
right? Okay. So public IP we have provided to VM only so that I can connect the VM, I can install the IIS service, I can create the a.html file, and after then we will remove the public IP. You don't need that. We will access the website through the load balancer, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, then fine. We'll continue tomorrow.
Sir, at last we'll
Okay.
have the revision class, right? From first to what and all topics we have discussed.
Mm-hmm.
Like in
Do,
real time, how it works.
do you want a revision class? Okay, we'll do that. No problem.
Yeah, like in real time, how task we will
Same,
get and how
same,
to.
same way. In a real time, you have to same way. Let's suppose you will receive a task like from your developer that we are needing a high availability application. For that, we need a load balancer. So you need to
Okay.
create a load balancer and then you can configure the website the same way you need to do. There is no difference. So this is a real time, real scenario. Whatever you are doing in the lab, this is
Okay.
exactly you have to do on your company.
So they will provide the like on which base load balancer should be configured. They will provide the details, right?
Yeah,
Based
they
on
will.
that, we need to create.
Yes, they will provide your website name. They will provide all those information. Based on that, you have to configure. You have to create the load balance.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Right? Good. Good question. We'll discuss more on the real scenario. Don't worry.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. Okay, okay, sir.
Good. Okay. Good night. We'll meet tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Good night, sir.